to the ComicBase live stream. I'm your host, Pete Bickford. This is the Christmas edition. It's our last live stream of the year. Also, as folks like to point out, it's the 75th meeting of the I Have Enough Comics to Know I Have a Problem Society. Anyway, hope you guys are all doing well. Let's say a quick chat round to welcome everyone in, and then get down to business. We got a lot going on today. Hey, Mike, by the way, I apologize to everyone who was here yesterday. We had so much stuff going on at the office. There was just no way we could pull together a regular live stream, let alone a big one like this one, and also do everything we had to do to, get everything else going on for before we had to close up the office for the holidays. So anyway, thank you for all hanging in there, and thank you for joining us on this special day here. Hey to Mike, Lorna, I hope you're here today. Yeah, I know you were here yesterday. Sorry about that. Mike Wagner, Jess City, man, great to see everyone here. Richard, I'm glad you could make it after all. And Jess Schultz, and always Greg. Greg, I got to get you a wrench next year. If you're up for it, drop me a note. I mean, let's. I need a moderator, as everyone knows. This is like the worst produced show on the internet, but we're doing what we can on that. And Richard, you scared me there. You said mute. Anyway, so hey, Andre, great you can make as well, and Oro and Rob, great everyone. So tell you what we're going to do today. We're going to do just a little bit of business, a couple announcements, and then I want to kind of share my top 5 tips for using ComicBase. For any of you guys joining us new, this is some of the cooler things that maybe you knew, maybe you didn't know how to do with ComicBase. I just, if I had to just, try to impress people with 5 little quick notes or show them something neat. These are the ones that came up. Obviously, there's a million things to do with the program, but these are the ones that occurred to me today. So hope you guys get something useful out of it. And after that, we're going to have our ComicBase, I hope it's an annual trivia Christmas challenge. We will be asking questions. And we'll be giving away many wonderful, wonderful prizes behind me here. I guess get out of the way, and maybe you could see them behind me. But anyway, we have boxes and boxes of stuff to get out here, 6 in all, and there's some great freaking stuff in there. So let's get on to it. Okay, so and Aaron, glad to see everyone. Let's see. It's true. The office party yesterday got too far out of hand to do the live cast on Wednesday. No, I'm afraid it was nothing as wonderful as that. It was just we had too much production going on. I don't know if you guys know this, but we are a very small company, and when we have to do something very big like a Christmas sale or whatever else, it takes a lot of work with a lot of coordination with the few people we have, and it just takes us off every other task. So that's what we were doing. By the way, speaking of that, we are running our holiday sale now. So if you guys are looking for your chance to upgrade on ComicBase or get new versions, this is it. It's going to be your best time for quite a while. So please do just head on over to our website, check out the news item on the main page for our ComicBase Christmas sale, and save yourself some bucks on some really cool software. Pretty much everything we've got software is on sale. We do not have any barcode scanners anymore. We're working on getting some new ones, but we are completely sold out. A lot of times on the holiday sales, we'll say, well, we only have 21 left or 25, whatever the thing is, we count it down. We have 0 left. But that being said, we'll help you get it configured if you have a different barcode scanner if you want. But in the meantime, save yourself money on the software. That's where the real money is. Anyway, let's get down to it. Okay. Oh, and hey, Brian and Doug, nice to have. Oh, yeah. Doug says you had me at prizes. Yeah. Okay. Let's get to it. And Tyler. Okay. So. Oh, and by the way, lest I forget, I would lose my YouTube credentials if I did not say hit the like button and hit subscribe and hit the little bell to get notified as we go, because that's how we build the notice on this whole thing and build up the channel, and we'll take it from there. Okay, I'm gonna hide a window here because it's confusing seeing myself on like 3 different screens, so I'm just gonna get that out there so I don't get too confused. And let's get down to some business. Let's talk about the year that was in ComicBase, and I'm gonna do this right like that, and boom, there we are. Okay, and hopefully this will be very, very quick, but honestly, it has been a crazy, crazy year for us. We have done nuts amount of stuff, and I wanted to give credit to both you guys who did so much work with submissions and helping us out and everything, and also just give some props to our long-suffering editors. Those guys work like the demons, and it's you guys did not make it too easy on them this year in terms of like how much work they had to deal with. So let's get into it. First of all, in terms of just comic books, we added 85,837 comics in the calendar year. This is not the release year, but in the calendar year starting January 1st of this year. 85,837 brand new comics. We are now, as of this afternoon, we just pushed a content update for the week. We are up to 971,906 comics listed, and we processed a monumental 1,084,684 price and issue updates during the course of the year. Holy guacamole. I don't have words for like how crazy those numbers sound to me. And that's just the comic books. We also, as you guys know, moved into magazines and books over the course of the year. Here are the combined totals on those ones. Here we go, and I gotta get the graphic swap so I can read it. So for those, we added 75,386 new magazines and books. We now have a total of 95,722 magazines and books listed. This was a category that came in from zero less than 2 years ago. And it's just taken off like a rocket. So thank you to everyone who contributed data, and thank you to the editors who made that happen. It's a bit slower than the million plus price and issue updates that we've added, in terms of pricing for the magazines. And we had only 330,000 price and issue updates on magazines and books. But yeah, like I say, the whole thing's just taking off like a rocket. All right, and then finally, get out. Okay, and let's swap the next graphic in. I can do this. There we go. So totally, in terms of the archive editions or the people with picture libraries, we added this is in the calendar year, in the release year. Like since we released ComicBase 2021, we've added over 100,000. But just in the calendar year, in January 1st, we added 94,414 new pictures. We are now, as of this afternoon, up to a total of 789,293 pictures in the archive edition. So that's cover reference art for that many items that you can just click on and get. Or download if you have got the discs or the download packages. And one thing that just blows my socks off, because I had to triple check last year's totals to believe that this was true. So the total value of all the items listed in ComicBase just topped $60 million, $60,185,916 to be precise. That's a large and arbitrarily sounding number, but last year at this time, the number was just over $40 million, and that was a record. Which means, because most of the new items we added, granted, we added a ton of items, but they tend to be not the super high golden age crazy value stuff that you would think of, because that stuff was been added to the database long ago. I mean, here's the part where we're scraping foreign titles and we're scraping new releases and weird variants and things like that. But we've added $20 million in total value to the database, which means the overall, if you owned one of everything in ComicBase, it went up by 50% in this year. So I mean, even if you remove for new items versus the value of existing items going up, that's just a staggering increase in the comics market. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. So 2021, we were getting auction reports in all year long that were understating this. 2021 has just been a phenomenal year for back issue value prices. So especially if you've got older things, things that were from the 50s that were just garbage before. They were the kind of books that you would throw into the kids section or throw them in the $5 or $2 section. These things suddenly were selling at auction for $50-$100. So yeah, no, and then don't even get me started on things like Amazing Fantasy or the books that were actually landmark issues that really had value going. So that is just nuts to me as far as what those numbers say. All right, so let me see where we're at. And okay, Greg says Hulk like puny smash button. Oro was very quick with the calculator there. Figured out that it amounts to 235 comic books a day. Wow. Okay, speculators in the MCU, says Brian. Yeah, definitely. Oh, hey, Dino, great to see you, man. Okay, so, let's see. And anyway, let's get on to just, and this one, if you guys have been watching every single live stream we've done, if you've already seen all 74, feel free to nod out for some of this, because it's going to be things that you've probably heard of before. If this is your first live stream, or if you haven't seen all 74 previous issues, then maybe this is going to be a little bit more interesting to you. But let's go over, really kind of like my top 5 ComicBase tips, for this next release. And let's go ahead and hit it. So let me throw the keying in here so I can get myself set up. All right, and let's start with this one. Install with less space and hassle. What the heck do I mean by that? Well, we went through an amazing sea change in ComicBase with the latest version, where you no longer need to install all jillion gigs of all those pictures when you're installing the archive editions. You now have the option of installing a single quick start picture archive, which has in it the thumbnails for all 788,000 or whatever issues that were in the database, and we're going to be updating that about every month, so you'll never be very far behind from the very latest on that one. But by installing that one, what you're going to do is you install a single file. It only takes about 8 gigs to do so, and then you instantly can go down even really long titles like Amazing Spider-Man. Let me flip myself over to the other side so I'm less in the way. Even really long titles like Amazing Spider-Man, and you can, in conjunction with a new setting we've got over here under Preferences, which I'll go ahead and move around to the right screen, if you mark it as where did it go? Yes, automatically download larger pictures when viewing items. Let me see if I can make that larger for the no, magnifier's not cooperating. But anyway, this bottom one here, automatically download larger pictures when viewing items. If you do that, then the second you click on any of these larger thumbnails, just for even a second, it takes that long and it downloaded the high-res image. It's basically imperceptible. These images were not on my machine before I just clicked on them just now. But for all practical purposes, it acts like the high-res version's always been there. And you can always print labels, you can do everything you're used to doing but with the full install, but you can do it with a tiny, tiny fraction of the space required on your hard drive and a tiny fraction of the install, angst of just downloading all those different parts. So yeah, if you guys haven't tried it before, give it a shot. Just with the new ComicBase 2022 archive editions, go under, when you go to download, you'll see that the recommended installs have the quick start. Give it a shot, and that'll automatically turn on that preference to download the newer ones. Now, if you want to, you still can go, it's under the additional install information, you still can go and install the full set of everything, from the download links. But the nice thing is, you kind of don't need to anymore, unless you really, just want to have it over and done with forever, or maybe you want to use your machine in a place where it won't have internet access. Would be a good way to deal with that. But other than that, though, it's like, this is just a really slick way to go. All right, number 2. Let me go ahead and see if I can find, there we are, is my monitor. Now let's find the picture on the whole thing. Yes, I can do this. I've gotten not quite as bad as I was before in terms of producing the thing, but I still would love it if love it if I had a producer on the show. And next year, honestly, I'm going to see if I can't get some of that going. So number 2 tip is get the latest features first. And by that, what I'm talking about is you can go up here under Setup and go to Preferences, and if you click Check for Interim Updates, what that does, let me switch over to the right screen. I told you this was badly produced, so let's try that from the start again. So go to Setup, go to Preferences, and if you click this check mark that says Check for Interim Updates, then every time you check for updates, it'll tell you not just what the big official quarterly releases are, but it'll tell you all the new little releases we're working on pretty much on kind of a daily or weekly basis, which means that if you're the kind of person who, okay, you might have a tiny bit of seeing, some of our, shirts sticking out of our pants, kind of bug type things, we're like, this isn't exactly where it should be. That can happen occasionally, but for the most part, what it means is you're going to get the new features that we've added to the program before anybody else. So whether it's little things or big things, that's a great way to just, be first in the game to see what's going on. And if you ever want to see what the new things are on that, just go under, go to our website, and if you go under the, well, let me see if I can do it right now. If I go to the ComicBase homepage, pull it over here, and if I go down to Support, and then Interim and Testing Builds, then it will tell you every little thing that we've done since the version that came out a couple weeks ago. And you'll see this list get longer and longer as we add new things. Right now, not a lot of huge stuff, just kind of, a couple little tweaks, a couple little bug fixes, things like that. Little improvements like the dark themes and stuff like that. But nothing too huge. But as we try out new features, you'll see them here first. So give it a go. You might dig it. All right, going back to things. Let's go to Next tip is view your collection on your phone. All right. Now, this is ridiculously handy to do. The whole idea is you want to be able to take your phone like this and be in some place where your computer is not handy and go ahead and see all your stuff. Now, in the past, what you had to do to make this happen is you had to save reports up to the web where you could view them. Wow, this is actually kind of cool. I'm picturing with myself on here. I'll stop that because that's really confusing. But in the past, what you used to do is you used to have to save reports to the web, and you had to think about it ahead of time. You know, save your collection report up, or if you were better yet, use Sidekick and have it do it for you automatically. There's a better way to go now. We took this on in the last version of ComicBase. This was actually one of those interim updates that we were talking about just now, where what you can do now, and I believe it's not going to show on that screen, but I'll go ahead and pull up Sidekick here. Let's see here. Go ahead and get him going and get him over to the right screen, and there's Sidekick. All right, and what you would do is if you go ahead and just say save to cloud. Now right now that's dimmed out. You'll notice that some functions are unavailable when ComicBase is open. So if you close ComicBase, you'll see that suddenly that button will light up and you'll be able to do it. Or better yet, just go ahead under the schedule here and make sure that your current database is listed, and then go to its schedule and make sure that it saves to cloud weekly or so. Middle of the night is perfect. That way you never have to think about doing this at all. Then, when you want to see your inventory, Sidekick will have taken the trouble out of going ahead and making sure that all your data is updated on on the web. It'll make sure it generates any automatic reports you want, or, and here's the really cool part, if you've got the mobile app here, and by the way, I should note this only applies to ComicBase Pro and better. So if you're using the starter version, ComicBase Express or ComicBase Free, I'm afraid this feature isn't available to you. But Pro or better can do this. So I just clicked on this one. Here's my collection. If I had more than one database, I could click up there and choose a different database. But so here's my stuff. Here's my counts of my different books. Here's different reports I've saved up on the whole thing. Better yet than that, that's kind of like the old school way to go. But now I can also just, when I find any old item, so if I go to, I don't know, Amazing Spider-Man, let's go 5th series, something like that. Do I even have any? It's possible I don't. Sorry, I've sold a lot of stuff on Atomic Avenue. But if I had any items on this one, there's one. It actually, as you're going down the list, it actually shows you which items you've got right in the list. The number one thing that people were doing with reports on the web is they were just wanting to know, like, look, have I got this issue already? And if I do, just, what have I got? Can I add to it? Now, you, of course, can go ahead and click on any of these issues. You can, say, hey, I just bought a copy, it cost me $3, and add it in right there. Or you can go ahead also in the thing and just hold up a barcode scanner to a comic book and scan it in that way. But really, if you just were looking to say, have I got a book or haven't I got a book, this is really the best way to go. Is it requires you to do absolutely nothing other than make sure your database is periodically synced up with Sidekick. And if so, then magically the whole ecosystem works. It's as if you were using a web-connected app the entire time, except that you still have the same control and the same speed that you get by having a desktop-based application. So, all right, that's that one. Coming back around, let me do a quick quick check of the chat. Let's see. Wow, Dina says I've been with Pete in ComicBase since #1 back on the 3.5-inch discs on the Mac. Man, respect, man. I have my one file copy from that from way back when, and I still can't believe that that's where we started almost 30 years ago. All right, let's see here. All right. Okay, and I think some questions for each other, but I'm going to keep on trucking along. Okay, cool. And next thing I would suggest is manage your digital media. All right, so a lot of people don't know this. It's kind of It's a weird little feature we managed to work into the back door of ComicBase, but you'll notice how just like you can associate pictures with, ComicBase, you also can associate any number of other interesting media files, CBRs, which is to say comic book reader formats, CBZ, which is a zipped version of that. So you can read, take digital comic books and associate them right with their physical entries in the database. But that's not the only thing you can do. So, by the way that works is all you got to do is call it the very same thing that the issue is called. So, for instance, if I've got this is an interview with the creators of Spider-Man. If I've got it for issue number 1, all you got to do, call it number 1, drag it onto the thing, and then suddenly I get a little icon over here where when I click on it, it pulls up the interview. And this is done way back when with Jimmy Quezada, Joe Quezada and Jimmy Palmiotti. It's like, wow, that goes back. But another thing you can do, which is really pretty slick, let's go to something like Watchmen. All right. So let's say I'd gone in here and I pulled the movie trailer from the Watchmen movie. If I just took the link that I pulled down from the movie trailer, just the URL, and I just call it this, the same rules apply. If I call it number 1, and I drag it onto this thing right here, if I click on it, then my web browser is going to launch. And I'm going to stop this right before it goes ahead and gives me a copyright strike. But it immediately goes straight to, the movie trailer for the Watchmen movie, which is really, really slick. Which also means that you can go ahead and use the same trick. Oh man, did it again, guys. I am so sorry. I'm going to have to show that on the screen because I was in the wrong place. Very quickly, here we are. Basically all I gotta do is have a movie file like that, or have a URL, or have a PDF, or a CBR, or CBZ. Make sure it's named the same thing as the issue itself. So if I want to associate with issue number 1, take it, drag it onto the title. You'll see a little play button will appear right next to the picture right over there. Click on that, and it will take you straight to the associated media. And we're good to go. Alright, anyway, I hope that helps. It was a bad demo on the last one, but I'll get better. Alright, let me go ahead and close up some windows here. And switch back, and let's do a quick check of the chat, see how we're doing. Hey, Lauren says happy holidays. And Lauren, thank you for coming back. I apologize for not being here yesterday for everything. Greg says drink roll call if it's your glass. I'll be showing off my glass later on. We'll get to that. All right, so I think we got it. Oof. And Oro was talking about a leak on his liquid cooling system. That sounds harsh. Okay. All right, well, let's get to it now. All right, so guys, the next thing we want to do here is trivia time. All right. Here are the rules. Let me go ahead. I think I have a slate for this. Yes. Let's go ahead and put this up and make it official. If I can... There we are. Boom. The ComicBase Christmas Trivia Challenge. All right, guys. Here's the way it works. And we have, it's going to be kind of quick. It's going to be rapid fire. And then we're going to get out of here and we're going to enjoy the holidays, guys, because this is not a serious show. This is just for fun, and I hope you guys all have a lot of fun. By the way, for everyone who's come in late, this is our last show of the year. We will not be doing a show next week. Hopefully, I'll be on a beach someplace just having a great time. Because my name is not Scrooge, I'm not making our folks work on Christmas Day or anything like that. But anyway, I hope you guys have a great time as well. But anyway, so with the trivia, the way it's going to go is this. I'm going to ask a question, and let me go ahead and switch back to picture-in-picture so we can see what we're doing. I'm going to ask a question. I am going to have to be the sole arbiter of whether it was the correct answer or not. Honestly, if you get the name pretty much right, I'm probably going to give it to you. And behind me, we have a variety of fabulous prizes. I hope the camera can see it. Let's try. Nope, down. Anyway. There are basically 3 sets of boxes. There are, let me try it again. Yes, there are 6 in total. Let's pan it around that way. 6 in total, 3 different types of boxes. Yeah, the picture-in-picture of yourself is really strange. And basically, if you win, what I need you to do, and let me see here. I believe I have my slate on this just about ready to go. Give me a sec. I knew I'd miss one up. I was so close. But let me get out one slate I wanted to show for this whole thing. But basically, I need you to send a note to P. Bickford at human-computing.com, which I think I've got it right here. Pete contact. Let's take that and drop it onto our media pool. And let's see if we can't make the magic happen on this. And boom, that is my address. Guys, take a moment and write that down. I'm assuming that you guys, someone out there is going to win. So P. Bickford, letter P, last name Bickford, at human-computing.com. And basically, if you are the winner, and we'll call out, basically we're going to go straight in the order of the chat on YouTube. Whoever the first person is with the right answer, I'm just going to say, okay, you got it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically say, would you like a large box, a small box, or a medium box? Now, the quality of what's inside, I'm not sure if it 100% correlates with, with the size of the boxes or not. The boxes are all pretty, they're all pretty darn cool. But there are some really unique items in there, including some items from the estate of Dave Cockrum, the famed, the co-creator of the new X-Men. And I have some estate comics in there that we'll be throwing into some of the boxes. At this point, I couldn't even tell you what boxes they're in. So tell me big, medium, or small, and I will put your name on the box, and then we will mail it off to you as soon as we get your stuff in, and then hopefully we'll get an extra present for this Christmas. All right, you guys about ready? All right, we're comparing drinks. Okay, it looks like you all right, and I think we are ready to rock. Okay, let's get to it. All right, question number one, and let me. By the way, I'm going to pull up the YouTube chat. One thing I found out the hard way the first time we tried doing this is that the order of the chat as it displays to me and the order it displays to you are not necessarily the same. So the official chat, transcript is going to have to be the one that's right on, that's right in the stream itself. So let me pop the chat out, make sure I can see it. Boom, there we are. Okay, we are ready to rock. Okay, cool. All right, so first question is, Jean Grey of the Marvel's X-Men originally had what superhero name? So, go ahead and throw the visual aid on there. Jean Grey would be the nondescript redhead at the far right there. Way in the background. Who also, by the way, had a really terrible superpower. I mean, I think she could only do one thing when she started, but she had a superhero name. It was probably a little better than her name was at the time. So I'm going to look for the first person to hit the chat answer. Oh, boom! Gregory for the win. Marvel Girl it is. All right. All right, so Gregory, when you get a chance, please put in the chat big, medium, or small, and I will stick your name on a box. Which, excuse me for just a moment, gents. I'm going to go and get a marker. Oh, nope. Reach through. I can do it. All right. So it goes. All right. By the way, they get harder after this. I want at least. I had this fear that that people would totally space out and not be able to get any of them, and I'd be left with everything, and then that'd be kind of sad. All right. Okay. So anyway, next up, Zatanna, over at DC, is the daughter of what other DC hero? So Zatanna, a magician, she her whole thing is that she says things backwards. That's how she does her spell casting. She's in the animated series now. She's famously been in the books of magic. I'm sorry. I'm gonna shut up on this one here because I don't want to give too much of it. Boom, Greg again for the win. Yes, it is Zatara. John Zatara is the full name on that one. All right, Greg, I'm gonna say you won that one again. If you feel like punting it to Mike, send me a note. But I gotta say, Greg won that one again. All right, so Greg, like I say, give me a note, big, medium, or small on both of those ones, and we'll take it from there. And Oro knew it was Giovanni John Zatara. Wow, I actually did not know the Giovanni part here. That's actually pretty slick. All right, guys. All right, yeah, I'm not feeling too bad now. I feel like I can up the difficulty level on this one a little bit. All right, Next up, here we go. Robert Kirkman, creator of The Walking Dead, co-creator of The Walking Dead, is also the co-creator of what Amazon TV series? Specifically, it was a comic book that was made into a TV series. All right. So this guy kind of came out of nowhere in the early 90s, and by mid-90s he had the whole darn place, under his thumb. The guy's scored more money off TV deals than any comic creator I've ever seen, I think. All right, so let me see here. Still looking at the YouTube sign here. We're looking for Robert Kirkman, is the co-creator of what other famous TV series based on a comic book? Chat has suddenly slowed down. Fat Man, great guess, but not the boys. Jet City for the win on that one. It is indeed Invincible. Very similar idea on that one. It's the idea is it's a group of superheroes that were not everything they appeared to be. The Boys is a great guess though. So Jeff and guys, you got it. But Jet City for the win on that one. So send me a note, and again, big, medium, or small, I will do my best to accommodate you. All right, guys, let's take it from there. Next up, Judge Dredd, the lawman of the future, first appeared in what famous British comic book? I'm going to settle for the title. You don't need to get the issue number, but if you do, I'm just going to be extra super impressed. So Judge Dredd, the same guy that I Am the Law, Stallone was playing in this one very, very badly. Which I forget the name of the guy who played it in the later movie Dredd. Played much better. He basically appeared very early in the run of this title, and by the end of it, I think he was in every single issue after he started. Okay, boom, once again. 2000 AD. Greg, if that's cool with you, I'm going to punch you along to Jeff. Wow. A lot of people just slammed it right at the same time. But so Jeff Schultz, you got that one. And let me go ahead and pull that one up. This issue in particular, it's the only one that it's one of the very few that does not have him somewhere on the cover. But anyway, so 2000 AD, it's a title that we were really, really keen to get indexed into ComicBase way back in the 90s when we started out here. Two reasons. One is I really like the British comic books. There were a million comics that came out of it. Rogue Trooper and Judge Dredd and Dinosaur Hunter and you name it. Actually, I'm sorry, Dinosaur Hunter. That's the wrong guy. Anyway, but I was thinking of Turok there for a second. But anyway, any number of really great heroes that came out of that one. But it was published as a weekly, which meant that this thing ran to like 1,000 issues before you could count Boo, and it's been going constantly, for the longest time. So we could really run up our issue counts, and then it was also really interesting for us to try to weave together all the storylines, because they were starting to be reprinted by Eagle Comic Books back in the early late 80s, early 90s. And it was nice to try to figure out where all this great English stuff came from in the start. So anyway, that's about it. All right. Oh, and Greg says, hey, punting all our wins. Greg, you are a stud. Well done, man. All right. So for the record then, Jeff Schultz, you were the man on the last one, and we'll take it from there. All right. Resetting here, because we only have 2 more to go, and then we're going to start wrapping up. All right, you guys ready? Here we go. Marvel Comics, number 1. The first appearance of Human Torch, first appearance of Submariner, any number of things. The first Marvel comic, really, was actually published, forget what it says in ComicBase, was actually published under what publisher name? And this will be the test as to whether you really are an old Marvel guy. So you'll know this one in 2 seconds. All right, still waiting. Greg is getting applause for being an awesome guy. And You're just pounding the rubble on this today. All right, somebody after Greg. I feel like the person like I feel like so the actual question is, what was the publisher, not the date of publication. Brian Price for the win on this one, and is timely publication. So I believe it was Martin Goodman, the publisher at the time, had about 1 million shell publishers. About a million shell companies he's used throughout Marvel's run. But the original Marvel Comics #1 was published by Timely. Right on, man. Okay, guys, this is about it. All right, this is actually fun. All right, so anyway, once again, I'm going to put my slate up there just so everyone's got it here. Once again, everyone who won something, go ahead, send an email to pbickford@human-computing.com and just tell me small, medium, or large. I can't guarantee you'll get it. I'm basically going to go in order of winners on this one in terms of deciding. But so if 3 people say large, then the first 2 people who won something get their thing, and then the next guy gets a medium, and so forth. But yeah, no, give me your preferences, and I will send along to you. I'm going to also need your shipping addresses on that, so make sure you send your mailing address and contact info and small, medium, or large, and we'll get this out to you. All right, guys, last one we go. Yeah, she says huge. Yes, just I merely have large and pretty darn heavy, actually. It's surprisingly so. All right, so I don't envy our shipping cost on any of these. All right, last one. This one, I think it's a little harder, but maybe you guys will get it. All right, ready? Here goes. Christmas, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, originally created for what company? It was a commissioned work. And bonus points if you can say what the commissioned work was. So the guy with the shiny red nose, which by the way is a clue as to what the commissioned work was. I'm not requiring you to give what the commissioned work was, but I need to know what company it was commissioned for. I want to say 1939. Might have been a little off from there, and I want to say that the creator whose name was May. Jesse Mattel. No, sorry, not no Norelco. No, it was not a book publisher. It was not. It was not a book or toy publisher. or I was trying again with the Marvel. Boom! Jeff Schultz for the win. It was Montgomery Ward, the department store, and for bonus credit on that one, it was originally a coloring book. I believe I've got that guy right over here. Let's see if I can load that up. Oh, come on, get in there. But yes, that's I believe that's the original coloring book. But yes, it was a set of coloring pages they gave to kids for to get going on just something to entertain the kiddies, so they get into the store, and we'll take it from there. All right, well that is the end of trivia on that one. So I'm gonna wrap it up here in just a sec, but I just want to say a couple of things because it's final thoughts for the year time for me. So I thought I'd say a couple things. Let me just get my ducks in order here. What I'm doing right now is I'm actually loading up my media bay. So the media bay on the what's this called? The ATEM Mini that I've been using to broadcast with this whole time. It only has a certain number of spots in it, so I am trying to get it so I can zip through these in pretty quick order as I go. All right. All right, so switching back, here we go. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys have seen this. This is all the rage on the internet these days. Let me pop that one up there. So this this very interesting lady. This was taken on the 21st. I love how when you've got something crazy going on in your life, you feel an urge to tweet it these days. But considering the Christmas season, and this seems like a real sign of our times of year 2021. Dana, not Scully, from Telefeminism, says, I'm flying today, but I'm not effing around with Omicron. She has check Pfizer ×3, check a negative rapid test. Oh, by the way, it's been fun, guys. If I get banned as a result of anything I'm about to say, Yeah, we had a good ride. And for the YouTube censors out there, I am, to the extent I talk about anything, I will be talking purely about data that's been shared by the CDC, the NIH, and CNN. But it's not going to be a very involved one. But being that anytime you talk about COVID-y things, that always seems like it sets off all the red alarm bells. At censorship central. But anyway, back to check natural immunity, which means she's already had COVID. And yet she's already been triple vaxxed, not double, triple vaxxed, and got a rapid test. She has an N95 mask sealed to her face with surgical tape. Respect. A secondary mask, it says vote on it, for displaying opinions, which I also respect that one as well, because she's actually admitting, as does CNN's lead medical analyst, that the cloth face masks basically are face decorations in terms of being able to stop the virus. She has a face shield to prevent from splatter, vinyl gloves, touchscreen gloves, so that, while she's sitting there in her self-imposed isolation, she can, play with her phone. That's good. And a large amount of Xanax. Her words are slightly different, but this is a family show. So, anyway, my take on that is this. I figured there's no point saying anything about somebody who's already been kicked around the internet all week long. I mean, and honestly, every geek channel on the planet has been having fun at this lady's expense all week long. And I'm going to say something a little different. I'm going to say she's not crazy. She's neurotic as hell. Don't get me wrong. But she's not crazy. Crazy would say that she's taking irrational actions for the threat as she sees it. I'd probably talk a little bit about some things I don't mention a lot. I don't share a lot about my personal life on the show, but I'm going to share a few things. So, one thing is that I can actually say I am actually hazmat operations certified. It's not a picture of me, but there are pictures of me running a hazmat decontamination line. And what she's doing basically there is doing the civilian or amateur equivalent of a level A suit, which is, it's the best. It's more like a level B or C suit, but it's the best a civilian could do if you thought you were at deathly risk from an airborne virus. She's taking splash precautions, she's taking touch precautions, she's air filtering as best as she can without getting on air, having an SCBA. The big humps inside, if you look at the bumps on everybody's backs when you see hazmat suits walking around, those are called self-contained breathing apparatuses. They're basically, it's a scuba tank that you use above ground. If you're working in a lab, in like a viral lab, you'd be working on air hoses supplied from the central air supply from a clean room. But beyond that, it's exactly the same thing. You're carrying your own environment with you, because anything you breathe in, the thought is, might kill you. And that's clearly where this lady is. So, I mean, again, if you're going to assume that this Omicron is the worst thing that has ever happened to the planet, and there's no freaking way you can afford to get any of this in, then she's being as rational as a human being can be. So, it's funny though, because this seems really extreme to a lot of people. I'm with that. I do not actually advise you doing this sort of thing. But it had put in mind, because as it turns out, just from the date, this was taken on the 21st. As it turns out, 50 years ago, almost to the day, there was an interesting event. John Lennon and Yoko Ono had been peace protesters for a long time, and they decided, we're going to go big or go home. And they decided they were going to take out a Times Square billboard, cover the entire building. It just announced, "War is over if you want it." Merry Christmas from John and Yoko. And a little bit later, they released a song that we all know today. It's the Merry Christmas, War is Over song. It kind of should be Happy Christmas, War is Over. Maybe I have that a little bit wrong, because in Britain they say Happy Christmas. They recorded it with the Harlem Boys Choir, young kids, I believe, very, very young, 4 to 11, I believe, was the age range of the folks they were working with there. And it didn't make any big charts in the US at all. It was released too close to Christmas for that. It did better over in Britain, but then, the years went on. It became kind of a Christmas standard. It got recorded by dozens of people, became more famous every single time. And it's one of those ones that's in the holiday rotation every year now. So this is interesting. That's what they were doing in 1971. strangely enough, because it seems like it's been a long struggle this year, I'm reminded of, what were they facing before there, not just in Woodstock, but 3 years earlier. There was a huge viral outbreak that was, from, Asia again. It was the Hong Kong flu, and it was ravaging the country. It was very similar fatality rates as far as case infection rates to case fatality rates to what we were doing with COVID. The estimates are, the estimates are wobbly, to say the best, but it seems like it's a same order level threat of what they did between 1968 and 69 when this thing really hit. It came back in the later years, 70, 72. So during those years, you might remember the epic response of the country toward it. They did Woodstock. They landed a man on the moon. So it was a little bit of a different approach than what we did during COVID. And so it kind of makes you think. So, I was watching the news the other day, and, our leader promised us that, quote, you're facing a winter of severe illness and death if you're not vaccinated. This was after his long, dark winter he promised us last year. I guess that's Joe's way of saying, Merry Christmas. But, it's a little bit of a different mode than we've done in the past. And, there's a lot of freak out about Omicron. Apparently, according to the CDC, this week, 73% of cases, according to the CDC, are Omicron, displacing the #1 Billboard chart favorite Delta in a single week, which dropped from like 85% of the cases to like 13% in a single week. The most common symptoms of Omicron, it's an interesting virus, are sniffling, runny nose, and a slight cough. Not so much the dying thing, which was the major symptom of, the previous COVID-y things if you're old and sick. But anyway, as we go, basically, Omicron seems like it's shaping up to be something with a fatality rate that's more or less consistent with being on a movie shoot with Alec Baldwin. It isn't saying that it couldn't get you in, but it's not super likely to. But, by and large, for most people, it's a cold. But, against that, we, have this. So, just thinking, and, 2021, for the business has been a good year for us. But, it's, on a personal level, it's, it's been a rough one, man. I gotta tell you, lost my dad this year. And, there's people that I've had over for Christmas that, are not here this year, and one thing I've always been like, just is my own person, is that from a very young age, I remember just feeling like the ticking of the clock. I mean, just, these are the minutes you'd never get back. And we're coming into year 2 of time that we will all never get back. And I'm just wondering, is the battle worth it? Because, I mean, again, I don't think she's crazy, but I feel like we have 2 choices here. We got that. We got that. Or maybe we just do that. Anyway, that's it for me. Guys, tell you what I'm doing. I'm gonna have myself a damn Merry Christmas. You guys have a good one. I'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.